Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Ace King. We're in early position. This is a 5NL game. I open raise. It's my open raising range here. Villain 6 raises me. So he 3 bets, and it's a min 3 bet. So I kind of don't know what to make out of it. He has 22 hands. That's all I have. This is the first time that he's 3 bet. He has been somewhat aggressive. So I do have the note that it's tens. 3 bet range is tens, and I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be tens plus. Say ace king, probably ace queen suited, maybe ace queen off, but I don't know, probably a tight range. So then it comes back to me just versus an unknown. So at this point, I just basically come back to being a pretty tight range myself. I would have 3 bet. Or I would have 4 bet. Aces and kings, I'm out of position. I have a tight opening range. It should be recognized that early position players have tight, but I don't know if 5NL, maybe players don't see that, but it's going to be a tight range here, so that's my calling range. Flop comes out ace 3-3. I do believe since he has the initiative, we check to him. Especially top pair, we got top kicker. No reason for us to bet and have him fold kings, queens, jacks, or tens. I'm kind of expecting those hands to bet. If not now, then probably at least on the turn in the river. 7 of hearts comes out now. This is the spot where I'm most interested in. It went check, check. I kind of feel like this is the spot where I should be betting, but I didn't. I checked. I feel like I should be betting here to try to start building a pot to get some value for my top pair of top kicker. So I check, and then villain bets 1 big blind. I'll note that villain only had, he was short stacked. He was under 30 big blinds at the start of the hand, or had 30 big blinds at the start of the hand. So maybe that has an effect on it. But he bet 1, and that just seems like a really weak bet. Like he is scared that I have the ace. So when I saw that, I don't think we need to raise, because I don't think any hand other than ace king and aces is going to call here. I call queen of clubs, and then I just checked. He bet half pot, and here's the spot where I possibly could have raised to get a little bit of value. But again, I don't think many hands are going to be calling here. Many hands that I beat are going to call. Ace king calls, we chop the pot. I'm not even sure if ace queen calls. So I do call, and we see a showdown. So let's see what GTO says. So GTO has me basically checking 100%. Okay, I think that's accurate. Our range is kind of behind, because you have to assume I don't have aces or kings in my range. So when we looked at breakdown, we got 32 ace king and ace queens, and then we have 18 tens, jacks, and queens. 18 combinations. So I've got more combinations of ace king, ace queen, but I lack trip aces. So I checked. Villain should be checking 76% of the time, so he's checking big part, except ace king. So I think at this point, so far so good. 7 of hearts is on the turn. Now it does look like I should be betting here. So if I bet, what kind of hands are supposed to be calling? Kings are cut a call, queens will likely call, jacks and tens fold. So I think this is probably a mistake. I should have let out here to go for some value. Instead I checked, which, I mean, I could still do it a small percentage of the time. And then for this small bet, yeah, villain's betting most of the time. And then I should be calling. Now, ace king looks like it should be raising a little bit. Not a huge percentage, but it looks like we are going to be raising. I do have the king of hearts, so I block, king, queen, hearts, but I didn't include any of the king, queens in there. So he bet, I call, and then this is 8 of clubs. 8 of clubs comes out. Okay, so with how I played it then, I mean, I do check. I've got a small number of ace kings. So I checks. He bets half pot, which looks like he should be doing aces, ace king with tens. And I just went ahead and called. So it looks like my play looks good for the most part. Did he have tens here? He did. So this was the hand, the one hand that he had tens. So it looks like I'm okay. I want to go back to here and see what happens if I bet. You know, let's talk about that line and what I think villain's going to be doing. So let's say I bet, as I probably should have. Villain should be calling with all of those ranges. So we'll say he's playing GTO. And I'm going to bet half pot, 5.7. And let's say he calls. 7, 8 of clubs. And then once I bet, then I'm going to be betting half pot here. I'm not going to shove. Because I think if I bet, I think he's probably only going to be calling with aces, ace, king. Or at least those are the hands. We're looking at targeting, I guess, kings. There's only 3 kings in the deck because I block it, but we're already on, I guess, a pretty tight range. So looks like I should be then betting with my premium hand. If he comes over the top, I'm going to have to call, but at best, we're going to look at splitting the pot if he plays normally. Now, what if he changes? What if he calls all of these hands? How does that affect our decision? So I'll run this and I'll come right back. All right, so you know, if he's calling all of those, we bet 59% with our ace king. He calls that, and then still it looks like we are betting about 25% with our ace kings. I guess what are we looking to do? We're checking, maybe get him to bet with jacks and tens a little bit. So if he bets, I'm sure we're going to be calling at this point, at least calling. So if he bets, yeah, we're not raising it. We're going to call with ace kings. But if we bet ourselves, he should still be calling with kings, probably tossing in ace queen at this time because he has ace queen in his range. Now that's a pretty tight range. What if he's, you know, a bit looser? So I've seen some people that have to have a 3-bet stat that's a little bit wider. Maybe something like that. Let's drop that offsuit. So 8%. How does that affect my strategy? So what I'm going to do is run the solver and we'll be back. All right, so now with that wider range, it looks like we are taking the lead. And that means we're donking, we're leading into him, which I don't really like. So I guess we bet, and he's calling with all those. He's calling with all of the aces, and I guess those are the ones that we're targeting, because if we check, he's going to be betting weaker hands, which is fine, but also stronger hands. So if we bet here, he shouldn't raise at all. So we'll run this. Let's say that I believe that was the 7 of hearts called. We bet again. And if he raises us, then we just call. But what is he? I mean, he's mostly raising ace queen. He doesn't really have any premiums here. I don't know if this is realistic. I guess for GTO, yeah, this is, you know, I have to trust GTO. But would a player really do this? Would they really be raising with ace queen? I don't think so. I think ace queen calls. I think their raises are going to be aces and probably ace king. Maybe he throws in a bluff with kings or queens just to see what I do. But I don't know about ace queen. I don't know if he's going to be raising with those. But let's say I checked like I did. He checks behind. We're back to our betting 50%. And then he should be calling, and then we're going to be betting mostly checking at this point, because he's got aces, 9 of clubs. Nope, sorry, 8 of clubs. So yeah, 8 of clubs. Now we're betting with our ace king, but at this point, if we bet and he calls, we're just going to shove all in with ace king because he has a wider range. So tighter range, where I don't really think there's a reason to bet all in to get him all in. I think we're betting half pot to try to encourage some calls, pot maybe with kings, maybe with queens. So kind of think I played this okay. Kind of surprised that his play was so good, especially at this 5NL game. He's definitely been playing loose. I should probably look more at some of these 5NL games just to see how well do these players play, get a better idea for general strategy, because I still am under the impression that some players are just going to be too wide. Maybe not this wide, but if I bet, then he's probably, I think, are going to be calling all of these pairs. I think that's what a lot of players will do. And then see what I do at the end. Maybe they give up on the turn. All right, so if you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.